Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 41, 43, and 46-year-olds from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Iroquois Falls, Ontario, and North Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada. Their hockey journeys have taken them to Canada, USA, Sweden, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, and they are legends of Deutschland. They returned to the shed after episodes 3, 9, and 22 have combined for 1,261 goals, plays, or listens. One of them even has his jersey number 27 retired in Deutschland. Combined in the shed this evening, we have a CCHA champion, 2 German Pokal championships, a Kelly Cup, and 6 Zweite Bundesliga Deutsche Meisters. Where in 2009 in Munich, Germany, they did become Deutsche Meisters with yours truly before I put on the Daisy Dukes. And I believe became the first pro sports team to become Deutsche Meisters in Baden-Württemberg. Welcome back to the shed, Doug Andress, Justin Kelly, and Greg Schmidt.
What's going on, Waldo?
How the heck are you guys? Okay, I get into how we know each other. We won the championship in 2009, and you've all been to the shed before, but let me see here. I'm going to start with what inspired this. Cody Lampel, a guy playing for Straubing, came on, and my ratings in Germany skyrocketed from like 130th to 18th or something. And I was like, holy moly. And I did some digging. I've been ranked 4th in Germany before. So I thought, you know what? I should floor it with a bunch of Germans and see if I can become number 1 and become a Deutsche Meister in the shed again, you know? And then I talked to Dougie at noon and he said he was in. And next thing you know, we're having a Steelers reunion a few hours later. This is fun stuff. So anyways, we won together. Episode 3, Greg Schmidt. Been a long time. A lot of episodes ago you were on.
Well, it's a funny thing. I seem to get invited early to all the guys when they start their podcasts, but once they get famous and get rolling, they kind of forget to call me back ever. But you have all those, so I'm pretty pumped. I got the call back.
Well, it's been too long, and I remember when we did yours, my mother was all over me like, they're too long. You can't be so long. People don't want to listen that long. And then I realized I don't care. I want to talk that long.
Never listen to your mother-in-law anyway. Never listen to the mother.
I'm not never cutting you off again, Greg. We're just going to talk tonight. Okay. So anyways, Kels, you were episode 9. That was still early on too, right?
Yeah. That was a double feature, I think, too.
I had put you together to try because I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to get the German fans and the UK fans to listen all at the same time. And that was when I put the goats together. You and Joey Martin.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a long time ago too.
That was a long one.
It was a long one. I know. And that was the last time I combined one. And thank you. You were one of the fellas that helped my hockey guys during lockdowns, and you trained my kids in the driveway, and my son's always said that he thought your skill stuff was the best he ever saw.
Well, I appreciate that, Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks. That was early morning too. That was an early morning.
No, thanks for doing that for me. And I mean, that's how the shed works too. That's how I've gotten listeners, how I've gotten like to number 1 in a few countries, is because when I called, my friends answer. And when I asked you to do that for my kids, you did that. And it's the same way the shed works. So I get a little choked up thinking about it, you know?
Anytime.
Okay. Dougie, you were episode 22. That was a while ago too. I haven't talked to any of you.
Way down on the list with you boys. Not even in the top 10. Down on the list. Still here though, having a good time. Glad to see everyone. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you guys would have seen each other?
Oh boy.
In Germany, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, the last time I seen you guys was 2010.
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
So it would have been that year that Schmidt, you're done with you retire.
Yeah.
I was just off the knee injury and I come back. Justin leaves to the DL. hot shot. Dougie, what did you do that next year? Did you go somewhere?
I got at the end of that year, I got hurt. I went to Criminal the next year, I think. After I was just maybe in 2010, so we were all in Bietigheim that year.
Right.
It was a tough. That was the year that you said though. Yeah, we were all together in 2010.
So we all played 2 years together. That was it then.
Waldo, you only played like 4 games that year, I think, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, I still remember that. Yeah, my knee was not ready at all. I still remember the pregame skate. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was the first regular season game. Like, you don't win anything the first regular season game. And we're doing the stretch before, and the coach says, well, we're gonna have Waldo back unless he's a pussy. And I was like, well, I ain't no pussy. So I played.
Well, didn't you got hurt in preseason, was it not?
Yeah, and then we went to 3 different doctors. One doctor said like 6 months, another doctor said 3 months, and then he took me to his hometown buddy and said 6 to 8 weeks, and we went with the 6 weeks, or no, 4 to 6 weeks, and we're like, 4 weeks, we're good.
4 weeks.
Yeah. Then it totally tore. Way to go, buddy. You win championships in the playoffs, not the first regular season game.
Dougie, didn't you play in the new rink though? You came back, right?
He left for the 1 year.
I came back in 2000. I came back for 2 years, 2012. I was with Waldo again with Danny Held. And then he got fired towards the end, and we brought in Kevin Gaudette. We won the next year. That was my last year. I retired in 2013.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you know, Dougie, Kevin Gaudette got relegated this year. So there's that.
So you guys won in 2013. That was with Justin. You were there too, and Dougie.
No, just me. I was by myself that year.
Yeah.
Well, not by myself. Other than the 4 of us. Yeah.
PJ Fenton, who's still scared to come to the shed. He was on that team. He stayed, and that was when you two were both on 2-year deals, and the coach told you he didn't want you guys back.
We just won the championship. Not good enough to come back.
All right.
So Justin, that's a question I got for you. Your last year in Bietigheim, and your jersey's retired there, okay? Your regular season, you battled some things, probably some injuries, some concussions, but then you show up in playoffs like you do and score 23 points in 16 games.
Yeah.
And then were you not asked back as well?
No, I wasn't.
No.
23 points in 16 playoff games, folks. Coach got relegated this year.
What year was that, Kels?
2018.
Oh, was your last year of playing? Or?
No, I played in 2019 in Deggendorf.
Did your jersey not get retired while you were playing for the other team?
Well, like what happened was we won 2018, and then I thought I was gonna maybe retire too. So that summer, you kind of go through your summer habits, and then you get a late offer, and you're like, why not keep playing? So you take the offer, and then the first game of the next year was against Bietigheim. So when I was with Deggendorf, we had the cup there, obviously in the banner kind of thing, and then they announced that they're going to retire my jersey in that game.
So they announced it while you're there. That's cool.
They announced it that night, and then the year went past, and then they did it the whole game like the following year.
Okay, I got to get into this here. Schmidt, we'll start with you. Where and what are you doing now?
Well, I'm living in Lloyd, Minster. I'm selling commercial insurance for car dealerships, farm equipment dealerships, and power sport dealerships. So
exciting.
I'm an insurance dude.
Yeah. You like it?
It's good. Yeah, it's a good career.
You've been doing that a while?
Yeah. Ever since, when I was done in 2010, I did 2 years, went back to school, did 2 years of college, and then started right out of college with this career. In May, it'll be 10 years I've been with this company. So
nice. Well, congratulations. That's a long time with the company.
Yeah. So I'm at my cabin right now, or just out for the weekend and sitting in my man cave at the lake.
What's the weather like out there this time?
Well, it's been crappy, but actually this weekend it's supposed to be like 20.
Oh dear.
We still
tops off.
Yeah, tarpless, but they we still got full ice on the lake, and I got 3 feet of snow.
Full ice on the lake. Yuck.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's been rough. It's been cold. Very
jeepers,
cold.
that doesn't sound fun. So, Kels, I think you've moved since we chatted last, eh?
Yeah, I moved up to Kelowna last June, and yeah, just took a few years. Last time we talked, I was just kind of enjoying retired life for a while, and then doing lots of random trips and living in Airstream and stuff like that for a while. Then moved up here, and then I'm working at like Rink Hockey Academy. It's one of those academies that's kicking off in minor hockey now, so I do that coaching. and training.
The research team saw you were an assistant coach of like an under 16 AAA team or something. Is that right?
Yeah, U6, it's U16. So we have our academy has 6 teams, 1 girls program, and then 5 other teams like U18 down to U15. And then
So you're spending a lot of time at the rink again.
yeah, a lot of time at the rink and a lot of time training kids. And I mean, it's a different landscape now than when we played. Obviously, it's a big business, and that age group it's next level stuff. To me, it feels like, I always say it's like a mini college atmosphere that we have. Like they go to school for.
How much are they paying to go to that shit?
A lot. A lot.
Well, I just don't get it, right? Because I see like,
I'm gonna guesstimate because around here it's about $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
yeah, it makes me want to puke.
But is it different? Depend how good you are, Kels, is what you pay, or
Just if you have Justin Kelly status, what are you getting? Like maybe
Yeah.
$5 grand ago.
So are there scholarships, they would call them?
Yeah, there's like programs you can work with, and then you know, it's an interesting conversation. Like this kind of topic comes up a lot, obviously, in the.
But then again, like if this is your job now, right? Like, is it,
Yeah.
would you, yeah. So like, then you got to get paid. So then they got to be paying enough to make that happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, all these academies have different,
Who's playing? Somebody's playing with their hands. Back off. Don't do that.
the financial, like so every academy has different, you know, way they run things. Obviously, like our division goes from like Manitoba to BC, so it stretches, you know, there's travel with that, there's hotels and all that expense that's included in all their fees and stuff. But they're also, I mean, for our program, they're on the ice 2 hours every day.
Really?
Plus training, plus skills.
Do they
plus-
still like hockey after all that?
Kels, quick question.
Yeah.
Scotty May in that program with you?
He's in OHA. He's I'm in Rink at Kelowna. He's in Penticton, so it's same.
Okay. Same. Yeah.
Same.
so? Hey, Kels, just a question on fees, and I know you're not going to give me a solid answer. So, what would a guy like Shrimpsy pay there? He'd be paying top dollar, right? 150 grand.
Yeah.
And he'd pay it for sure.
Yeah.
That guy's first professional game, that was still one of the hardest hits I've ever seen.
Oh, man.
He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
That was good.
So folks, I guess we got to give you a background story of that one. Old Tripsy, Stefan Trips, great dude, great fellow, great teammate. We had a smaller budget near the end of Bietigheim, and we didn't have that many backup players. So when the injury bug hit, and we had to call up some junior kids, they maybe just hadn't practiced with the professional team enough. They maybe just weren't quite ready, but they maybe were big, right? And but then he got the puck on at the hash marks in his own end, right? And did he not turn up the ice? The D-man came down and just kaboom.
The big thing was because Briddick wanted to, you know, work his magic on this project, right? And it was like, what the hell? Oh my God.
It's gonna be the next Chara.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry. I got
Yeah,
off
sorry. Okay, so that's cool.
Those are the good parts of this, Schmitty. Those are the good parts of this stuff.
Well, Kels, you were very talented at the skills development there, and I know you were always working on your craft a lot more than me. So, yeah, you'd be perfect at that because, like, Colby was doing a lot of the shit you taught him on the driveway afterwards. So,
Yeah, like we talked in the last one, there's just stuff that's evolved since our era. And like we talked about all that band shit you guys used to chirp me for is now it's in every locker room and every arena or whatever. They're all doing that like a long time ago. So it's just, there's a lot of this stuff is old but new again. They just kind of it's interesting to see the landscape, especially moving back.
you always got to stay on the curve, right? Schmidt, you'd find this funny, those bands and shit that Kels was using, where he had the ball, like the gag ball in the middle. My coach in Cardiff started making me do it near the end. So I'd be jumping around with the gag ball on it. The bands, it was quite the scene.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wish I would have been doing it because now when I go and skate, I can barely skate twice a week and my groin will give out. I should have been doing the band all those years.
Yeah,
It was the best I felt was doing it though. I didn't lift a weight the whole summer and I could move better and I was still strong. And...
Yeah, but have you ever lifted a weight, Wally? Like
Schmitty, I was an NCAA athlete. I could crush squats, man. But once it became professional and I got to choose when I worked out, I didn't usually choose to.
Yeah, all that stuff changed. Even working out, like now it's hockey specific. So it's in our era before it was all like get big and lift and get injured. And now like
see how heavy of weights you could lift and squat. Yeah. See if you could get your asshole to fall on the floor.
Yeah, like all that stuff. And if you're a hockey player first, not a weightlifter first, then it's shifted.
Yeah, you were the only one that could ever explain that to Brittig, but nobody else could. I don't know how that worked. You were the only one that could do his own workouts.
Yeah, we're all doing this crazy workout, and Kel's in this corner by himself with his bands doing a bunch of stuff.
We're walking around like we're riding horses, and there's Justin just bebopping around with his gag ball.
Smitty's got his ice packs on his calves because he can't even feel his legs.
Every time you'd go and have a conversation with Brittig, you'd be talking to him. It'd be maybe 5-10 minutes into the conversation, and he'd look at me and he'd go, "Have you been drinking?" And I was like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?" And I think he's joking, and he's not. And I'm like, "No, like, fuck."
It's Tuesday morning, 9:30. You know I'm not drinking yet.
Okay, Doug, what are you doing now?
Living in Brockville, Ontario. I work for MPAC Municipal Property Assessment Corporation. So I do assessment of properties. So just the easy life, full time.
That's what my old man did, eh?
Yeah, benefits and all that stuff, pension benefits. So
exciting times.
Easy.
But you said you're coaching your kids?
I'll be hitting the golf course tomorrow. I got a membership this year, so I'll be playing the country club 4 times a week.
You got a membership? You're going to get to play that much?
My kids are on their own. They're 10 and 13, and they both play like rep baseball. So everyone kind of just drives them. They just go on their own. And I coached both of them in the winter. They both play double A hockey in the area. So double A, so U13.
Stop playing with your hands, Doug. Stop playing with your tallywhacker down there. Stop that.
Why can you hear it?
I can hear you playing with your ding-a-ling. So you coach 2 double A teams. How, like, would there not have been times where that's
head coach of the U10 team, and I helped out assistant coach with the U13. So whenever I was available for the U13, I'd go, but I was full time with the U10, and I'm just finishing up. Boys play spring hockey too, so spring hockey goes till the start of June.
Right. Whoa, yeah. It's busy stuff, eh?
It's busy, yeah.
What type of players, RJ?
RJ would be a perimeter player.
Just like the old man, eh?
He's kind of he's good vision. He's smaller, but sees the ice well. Forward, yeah, plays left wing. And Grayson's more of a heavy shot, big, rugged, young guy, right shot. He's pretty good right wing.
That's Dougie.
Yeah, Dougie can't skate like him. He skates way better than his dad.
Well, okay. So the next thing I got that I guess would be when I met you guys, Dougie, we would have played against each other, Ohio State, and then in Landsberg when I'm in Landsuit, right?
Right.
Never knew each other till we meet up July 1st in Bietigheim. Schmitty, you're coming from the DL. I'd never met you. You and Robitaille, right? You guys both were the big wigs coming from the DL, hot shots. Kels, I didn't know you either, but the Steelers had played Landsuit in the playoffs the year before. We dominated you guys. Yeah. So that I didn't know you either, though. So then we show up July 1st and the chaos starts, eh? Who wants to take this?
Oh,
Schmitty? You had
Well,
fun.
you know,
You had fun in
okay.
July, didn't you?
Yeah, I was there in July actually. Yeah. So we're coming from the DL, and I played in the second league 2 years prior to the DL, and had some pretty good years. So I was figuring, you know, I'm gonna play 2 more years. I signed a 2-year contract, and just have some fun, relax, score some goals, and you know, be semi-retired. And then we're gonna come to Germany in July, have a little holiday, and then it's like, holy shit, we're like freaking training like an army. And it was just like utterly insane. And to make things even stupider, we'd go out and get hammered we'd work out for 4 days, and then we go get stinking drunk for the next 3 days in a row. So
Stinking drunk.
Really made very little sense on why we were there. It was the worst date.
It was almost like a competition. He would see how hard he could make us work, and so we would see how hard we could give her on the weekend.
Oh, man.
But you'd start Monday morning, and it would be a 3 a day, right? You'd show up in the morning, you'd do something, you'd go home for 2 hours, you'd come back, and you do the running, then you do the weights, then you go back to the running, and like you couldn't walk, you couldn't sit down on the toilet, you couldn't do anything.
So team building, right, Schmitty, for real? The first 4, like, to introduce, like, I didn't know anyone on the team. I knew Kells. We played in Johnstown like a couple of years before that. But really, to actually be only working out 4 days and then be like, we introduce each other, like, you know, is like, this is camaraderie, right? This is how your team builds.
I think that's how we end up winning the championship.
The
Is
Monday
that they
to
did
Thursday,
give us that off.
Monday to Thursday was shit. Like, who cares about whatever we did there? We all knew how to be professionals, how to train our bodies. It's the Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night where we really built our team.
Well, we started Thursday night. At Thursday, we'd be done, and the Germans would all head home. And then there'd be us sitting there looking at each other. Well, what are we going to do this weekend? And we'd have we'd have Thursday, the rest of Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we'd recover.
Yeah, because we only had 1 a day on Thursday because he wanted to leave by noon, remember?
Because he wanted to get home to his family.
Yeah, we got to get home by noon. Like, oh yeah, we'll just sit here for 3.5 days and do nothing.
That July, the workouts were like the running, really. Like I would really get anxiety trying to go to sleep the night before because I wasn't sure if I could get through it again, you know?
Well, didn't we have to do 10 400-meter sprints?
And they kept getting faster.
Yeah, and you had to be under, like, I might be wrong, wasn't it under like 75 seconds or 70 seconds?
You always had like a gauge, I remember, like.
Oh yeah, by the end it was a full sprint.
Oh,
it was,
I thought all 10 were a full sprint.
Pretty well.
It was a lot, but I think Dougie's right. Like, it did pull us together, like, because
we all hated the guy that was.
Yeah, we bitch about it, you know, but then there's always the justification. Oh, we're getting another paycheck, but.
Well, the weekends were memorable though when we all got to know each other. Because, like I just said, I didn't know any of you when I showed up at Bietigheim, but then you get 3 days off and you're going out for lunches together, you're going out for dinners, and you're having nights together. That's what wins championships, you know. I
think the worst one was the second year. I found the first year wasn't so bad. It was that
after we won it, and then
it was that was a quick turnaround. I felt that.
Well, were you not injured though, Kels, the first year? I thought at the beginning, like you were coming off an injury.
Yeah, there was something going on there that Justin just couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, Justin, you couldn't.
He was there, but he had his bands. He was just on the side doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't too
smart.
strenuous.
He was the smart guy.
Yeah,
He was a smart guy.
you did run his show, Kels. You could
Kels
play
built
him.
our
You
team.
played him like a fiddle.
Kels built our team. You know that? Like, I remember talking to Kels the year before. He's like, "You want to come here?" I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "Yep, okay, you're coming." And I was like, "Really?" And all of a sudden, like, "Yep, I'm coming." It was good though. You built the right team, Kels. You did build the right team.
Well, how many games did we lose that year? We must have we only lost 4 or 5 or 6 or.
Yeah,
because we played Catenaccio.
Catenaccio. That still bothers me. That last game of the regular season this season, right? The first year, I was tied or just behind a guy for leading the league in scoring, and we went up to Bremerhaven last game of the season, and we show up. Justin, I don't think you were playing, but we show up, and Bredig says Catenaccio, and I'm like, what? And that meant we did not cross the red line ever. And I was trying to lead the league in scoring. I had one game to get a couple points, and I wasn't allowed to cross the red line.
Yeah.
What a guy.
That's why I didn't sign back in Dusseldorf when he got the job, pretty much.
Really? You just, that's a lot of years of
Well,
being with.
Yeah, like I was in Dusseldorf there, and then I tore my knee, so I was pretty much out for the year. And I knew he was getting the job. He called me, and he said, he wanted me to stay, but I have to be there. Like he wanted me there all year to train with him in the summer. And I just said, at that stage, you want to be home a little more. And
Yeah.
Thanks.
So was he doing Catenaccio in the DL?
I don't know, but he then he reached out to me again, like when I was in Ravi on the break. I was heading to Monte Carlo.
Nice.
I was in the airport, and he called me and said, "Do you want to come play?" I was like, "I'm just headed to Monte Carlo right now, so I'll get back to you on that."
Did you go to the casino in Monte Carlo?
Yeah. I would go there on the breaks a lot. Like, so whenever we had like 3 or 4 days, I would rip there because it's always good weather in November. It's kind of decent. So and I would just go gamble there for a bit.
What are you playing when you gamble? What's your game?
Blackjack usually, or mostly blackjack. And then, I mean, the people watching there is, you can just sit outside that casino. Yeah. People watching. It's a pretty fun little spot.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice, but yeah, he wanted me to stay. I said I couldn't do the summers again. So
I couldn't imagine doing them. I can't imagine we did that.
Yeah.
But when Thursday ended, when we got to leave the place on Thursday, oh, what a great feeling.
Yeah.
It was great. Go to Stuttgart, just sit in that little alley and just drink beers and just
on the Foosganger zone.
Oh, so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So nice.
That's where I think you actually hurt your knee, Waldo.
trying to get back home on the train, falling down those stairs.
Getting back from Fittermark, trying to find his apartment. I think that's where you.
There's a couple times I was in vulnerable positions. Okay, Doug, I'll start with you. Favorite restaurant in Bietigheim.
Favorite restaurant in Bietigheim, I think I have to say Luigi's. I like the Parmesan spaghetti. Love the Parmesan spaghetti. They're the big bowl.
That's what you're going with, eh?
Yeah, I think so. They dump the spaghetti in there and twirl it around. And that's where we finished off the year that year, man. That party was right on that downtown. Me and Kel's up on the statue. So just that memory alone is.
I was overserved that night.
I think going to Luigi's was good. Yeah. I mean, Nemo's was our go-to all the time, obviously, but
at the first year, he didn't even have a restaurant. He was just coffee and like crepes, right?
Yeah, that little.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Luigi's. I like them.
Okay, Kels, you were there a lot longer than the rest of us. What is your favorite? You were always a Luigi's guy when I was with you.
Yeah, then he left after that, so it changed hands a little bit. But I was at.
Did they still have the Parmesan wheel that they
No, his different owners and different. It was still Italian spot, pretty good as well. I went there a lot when it switched over, but yeah, I went to Luigi's when we played a lot.
Yeah.
And what was another one like? And then CeeLo got a place after you guys left. He opened a spot where
CeeLo did?
yeah, he still has it. It's called Paul and Tony's. He's had it now 5 or 6 years, I'm guessing. So
I tried to get him in the shed.
we just get
Didn't
we
get a
would just go there
response.
for lunches and stuff. And then that Russ Neck across the street, Smitty, you would go there a bit, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't really remember much. I remember Luigi's. I remember going to Basin. Was it Basin?
Basin. Yeah, at the Basin.
Yeah, amazing, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
The Basin and Rosnecht were, I thought, like obviously the best German restaurants. I also liked the Sergio's on the way out of town.
Yeah,
Mean tortellini rosé, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez, you guys are making me hungry. But Rosnecht was really good too, eh? When they bring out the food in the pan, you know? And they're making their own beer, weren't they?
They had their own beer, yeah. It was like
Yeah.
pretty much.
Mhm.
So what kind of restaurant does CeeLo have? What is it?
It's like a bar restaurant, kind of like burgers and stuff, and then breakfast stuff. Yeah.
And that's in Bietigheim?
Yeah, it's basically right across from Luigi's. It's right in town by that, basically where the fountain is, Dougie.
Yeah.
There's a building Luigi actually owned and had a bar there and a cheese spot, I think, when we were there. He just opened, and then some other business there. And then when I went back in 2015 or 16, he started looking at getting a place. So he grabbed that location. And then I think he opened another one. He opened another one where the tennis courts are on the other side of town by like those furniture stores.
So he's a busy boy. When did has he been done for a while, hockey?
I think, yeah, at least, 18 months, 2 years now, I think.
I see that he's part of the U18 team, I think.
Yeah, I think he's doing some with the German Ice Hockey Federation kind of thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, one other great restaurant in town though was Hammer Schweinebraten.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's backyard hammer.
Was that Mondays? Did he do that or
Wednesdays, Mittwoch.
Yeah, that's a heavy. That's a heavy meal.
There's
Got-
lots of butter.
You got to play a heavy game.
Those like potato balls. I don't know what they're called.
Waffles.
No, they were
Kartoffels.
kartoffels potato, but they were the what are they called? The dumplings. What are they called?
It was like a big ball of something.
Of stuffing. Like they had the stuffing one. You can have the potato one, or there's one that's like stuffing or dressing, right? Lovely little balls. I wish those balls were around here.
You can probably find them somewhere, Waldo.
Yeah, it's
The stuffing balls.
the internet is a wonderful thing.
I will find it. Yeah. I've been making spätzle around here. I've been doing that and some schnitzels. Yeah. Yeah.
You or Lisa?
Well, I the cook. I like cooking. Yeah. Got into it. I guess it was after I really played with you guys. I got into cooking in Denmark because it was so boring. And then once you get into it, the Basin was a great spot. One of my greatest memories was having my Cabina Fest at the Basin.
Yeah.
And I guess we misbehaved. Andre Kaufman was doing the Russian knives on the table and ruined one of their old nice tables by hitting it with a knife in between his fingers. So
That was that got a little messy. But
yeah, Cabina Fest can get messy.
That was when
So,
Dad,
Wally, how do we get some of your gear there? Like
I was gonna say that was the swag, Wally. I like the swag.
You like that stuff, eh? Yeah. So at aleshockeytales.com, I got a website, Schmitty.
Well,
I'm having a golf
Well, I'm
tournament.
pretty
too.
sure, Waldo. Like we just went on this for you. I'm pretty sure you could like pull those up and throw it in the mail.
I don't make any money doing this. It's just for fun. But yeah, no, I made some jerseys and I've raffled off a few. I just finished raffling off my under 11 teams signed jersey. We had in a 3-on-3 tournament during March break, and they wore these jerseys with the beers on them, and they're adult size. They looked hilarious. They looked great. And so then we signed one of them and just raffled it off, made like 200 euros. And I turned a signed jersey into custom made mini sticks for them with their names and numbers, 2 ales and hockey tails mini sticks.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty exciting. They come Monday. So, do you guys remember running around with snorkels on?
How could you ever forget that?
Ah,
Running around wasn't the bad part. Is when he threw it into our cages and made us wear it on the ice.
that was the year I was hurt, and I was
Oh my
watching it going,
Lord.
this is wild.
I was talking about that the other day to someone actually about that.
Hey, Kels, if you did that at your school in Kelowna, would you get the pink slip by 5 o'clock?
I recommended that. I think I was actually thinking about
what would your school do if you showed up and said, I'm going to put snorkels on all the kids for practice today?
I just think like the application was wrong. If actually what he was thinking wasn't wrong actually with how like the breath works and stuff like that, but the way he did it was totally off.
Well, he was thinking of the VO2 and
Yeah.
how you do it on the bikes, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, how do I come up with my own idea
Yeah.
that everyone else has already done, but it's going to be the British way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get a snorkel.
Or he read an article and it's just like there was just a different way to do that even on the ice with like kind of maximize your breath. It was just the fact that he made Frankie bolt all those things to our helmets and then take them off after like half a skate.
Riddick was actually the first guy to start his own science, fake science.
I'm not trying to just bash the guy because British.
Why not?
Well, okay, I'm going to because it's the truth. But what I'm going to say, Christian, is you did believe in me. You gave me a good deal. You did take care of me. You played me a lot. You gave me every opportunity to succeed. I don't like the way you dealt with other teammates of mine. And I thought the way we played hockey was baloney, and my dog could have won with that team. But other than that, I thought that the way he definitely played me a ton. He played me with Justin, Big and Lil Sexy were thriving. And one thing I was thinking of is I think that's the best power play I ever played on was with Dougie, Justin, Sarakov, and Geipel. Sari in the front of the net, tip and everything. I don't think I played on a better power play anywhere. Have you guys? You could be honest, Justin. It's cool. Like, it's fine. It won't even hurt.
No, it was definitely when you play on those power plays like that, you want to realize like every piece is like has to fit to make a top. You know what I mean? They can't just all have the same.
Well, and I thought ours was about as simple as it got. A right side overload with 2 righties, and Dougie's a righty walking the line, but can easy give it back. And we never really had any interest in going to the other side unless Skype was taking a one-timer. But the other teams knew what we were doing and they couldn't stop it.
Yeah, it's just you got the right pieces and the right skill set for every position, and usually that's what you see is have success. When you have guys fighting over this half wall or fighting over puck time, that's when they kind of struggle.
So what was another good power play you've been on that comes to mind? You can say it's like those guys they brought in Bietigheim you played with after and won championships with. It's cool. It's fine.
We had a good unit there too. Like from 2015 to 2018, that stretch we had a lot of like good power plays as well.
Yeah,
the same thing. You just have the right pieces and guys that know spacing well, and know how to move the puck at the right times, and you have success. We had a good unit too, and
so is in Bietigheim was the other good ones too then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dougie, what about you? Landsberg, you guys had a pretty good one, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was my first half year. Yeah, with Adam Mitchell and Wrigley.
Yeah.
So yeah, for a low budget second league team when we first all went in there, it was pretty high end for what we had with, like I said, Adam Mitchell played a ton of years in DEL, and
I think he's still playing.
And Wrigley was, as Kells knows, Riggs is really skilled player. So we hit it off right away. And then Austin Wyzek, he played in the second league. He sat in front of the net and did the same as Sarah, you know, tip pucks, and we just worked that one side the exact same way we did it. Like it's all instead of like wanting to score all the time, it's wanting to share the puck, right? Give the puck at the right time, give it to the right person, and make things happen. It was same concept, just different people.
I found like early on in my pro career, like when we have that power play, it's so simple. And then you go to different teams and you're trying like box and ones and rotating shit. And you're like, geez, can we not just make this easier?
And explaining it to kids is even tougher. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know, getting them to understand it takes time.
it does. You got to learn what works and what doesn't. Schmitty, what was the best power play you were on?
You know, it's hard to say. I anytime, you know, I've played on 3 teams that won championships, and obviously the power play is a major part
Of winning a championship.
of winning. Yeah, I don't think you can win a championship without having a power play that scores timely goals and has, you know, you have to have a good percentage on the power play, otherwise you can't.
But you got to score at the right times too. Like
Yeah.
if you get a power play I remember that season, we get a power play with a few minutes left. Like we were going out there looking at each other like, yeah, this is going in.
Yeah, you know you're gonna score. I've been on other teams though where it's like, fuck, we got the fuck power play, and you're almost afraid, right? That's not a good feeling.
No.
But yeah, for sure.
So
Every
you
time-
said 3 championship teams. There's the Kelly Cup, Bietigheim, and then what's the other one?
Well, I won one in Dresden too.
You won the third league, the second league?
Third league.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of teams in that too, eh?
Yeah, we won that in 05, I think it was.
Did you have a parade that day too?
No, but you know what happened is they all came on the ice.
The
Like the
fans
fans.
did.
The fans came all on the ice, and of course it was packed. You remember the old Dresden rink? I don't know if you
I
remember.
played in the new one.
Yeah, the old one it was just crazy. Like it went straight up, and it was just it felt like there was 100,000 people. I mean, there was really like 3 grand, right? But it felt like 100,000. And yeah, we won, and they all came over the boards and on the ice. It was
Wow.
nuts. Yeah, it was
That
cool.
that
They're
night,
shooting fireworks, and like it was just, you know how it is, just
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that night we won. We were in Munich, right? So then we had our drinks in the room, and then we still had like a 3-hour bus trip back to Bietigheim, and we had beers the whole way, and then they drop us off at that warehouse to party longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Live band
playing or something.
There was a
wasn't there?
band playing. There was like thousands of fans. That like we didn't get back till like 3 a.m.
Kale's drink mart there. That's where we went.
Where was it, Kel? What was it called?
Kale, he had that drink.
Oh yeah, call it, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had it there. It's funny though, like I don't know what you, Doug, when you won the second time there, like nothing. They were all good, obviously, all the parades and stuff, but it wasn't the same as that first one.
Not even close.
The way they structured it was good. It was just different, and it was never in the town. Like the party didn't have like it wasn't.
That first year was like unbelievable. The way that downtown rallied together, and there's like 7,000 to 10,000 people in that whole downtown, right? You couldn't even walk around.
And the fact that they had the DJ in the town, like they didn't do that the rest of the other time. We went the opposite way. So we'd start in the town and we'd end up at the rink for the after party. So it didn't have that same like downtown city feel where the city was just buzzing down there. So
It was the first one though, right? The first one, and the fans were like, and really they're pushing for us to go to the DEL. That's what they really wanted.
Or maybe did we do something illegal that maybe they're like, okay, no more parties there.
maybe that too. Yeah, they kind of structured it from that.
Probably Waldo.
That was a day I'll never forget. Heck of a time.
We didn't even know there was a parade. We didn't even know.
didn't know.
So that's what I was
Waldo fell out of
gonna
the
say.
trunk with his shorts on.
Yeah.
We were still hammered from the night before.
Well, so they drop us off at that warehouse like 3 a.m. So then we still keep going till say 7 a.m. I remember it. We woke up and I'm like, okay, I gotta let the dog out. And we all text or call each other. Beckham was with me. Lisa was home. It was just me and Beckham there. And then we're like, let's go for beers downtown. None of us knew there was a parade. We thought the season was over. We were Deutsche Meisters. We do whatever the hell we want. And we started having beers. And I told you guys, these jeans I've worn every day all year. I'm going to cut them off and I'm going to wear them downtown for the fellas, right?
That's when we were all sitting at Mimo's that day. That was an awesome day. It was like,
It was a beautiful sunny day and we sat outside and he brought kegs. And do you remember sitting there and people started showing up downtown? We're like, why are there so many people coming downtown?
I had the big loudspeaker and I was telling everyone there was free ice cream.
Free ice cream. Free ice cream.
Oh, and then Dirk showed up just in a huff because there was a parade we didn't know about. I got my cutoff jeans with the boxers hanging out the bottom, my Deutsche Meister shirt, and my dog.
Our dogs were on the float, well, though.
I know. And then when we got off the float, I misplaced his leash and he was just running amok downtown with no leash on with thousands of people. And people brought my dog back to me. It was great. Thanks, folks.
I'm sure, didn't you do a TV interview when you rolled out of the trunk of that car?
When I rolled out of the car, I just remember them like they were videoing us arrive in our nice Bietigheim Steeler cars with the logos on the side, and then I rolled out the back with my Deutsche Meister shirt and the cutoff jeans and the two dogs. Oh God, yeah. I wonder why they didn't want me back after a while.
Role model. You're a good role model for Shrimpsy.
I still feel bad for those guys though, because there was a time. So there's the Feder Market, right? That's like the mini Oktoberfest in Bietigheim. Yeah. And this is after you guys leave, Schmidt, and the game's changing. All these young punks are showing up with hats on that still have the sticker on it that like it says like what size the fucking hat is. And I'm like, that sticker is just on there so you know like like what size it is. Like you don't keep that on. And we were drinking one night and I decided to pull a few of them off. And then apparently, like if you've been wearing a hat for a while and then you pull that off, there is just a big circle there. That's so fellas weren't too thrilled with me that night. Still feel bad. Maybe I'm not a good role model. Couldn't stand those stickers. You know, Schmitty?
Well, I don't know what for.
I don't get it. Why would you keep that on? You bought the hat. It's time to take the stickers off. Anyways, okay. What else do I got? The one reason we also won though is the Germans we had on that team. I got like Geipe, Hammer, Spatsy, like all the Dirk, CeeLo, Flo. Like what a group of Germans on that team, eh?
Well, I mean, that's to win in Germany. It's the Germans.
Yeah.
Essentially, even now, it hasn't changed much. You know, the imports are important, but they're almost a wash on most teams nowadays. And like
but it's also not about how good of players they are. It's also about how accepting they are of the imports, like inviting you to Schweinebraten, making you feel a part of it. Because there's I saw other teams doing it where the imports were not involved with what the Germans are doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's and the salaries change too, right? So
what's the import rule now, Kels? Do you know?
The second league, I don't know. It was my last year.
4.
And then in the DL, I think it's like 10 still. Like up, it's around 9 or 10.
I heard it's 4 in the second league, but they're only allowed 6 cards for the year. So there ain't no bringing guys over for a few weeks and then sending them on their way. It's if you're signing a guy,
Tommy Goebel, the gobbler.
The gobbler that took my spot when I got hurt. He was there all year. It was like that Scott Barney that showed up.
Barney, 4 games, 4 points. See you later.
Didn't have long enough stick. Brittig didn't like it. He had a short stick. Can't have that on this team.
He didn't like him at all. He's coaching Humboldt Broncos.
Yeah.
Is he?
Well, so he doesn't get the contract in Bietigheim, so then he goes to the Finnish Elite League.
Yeah.
Too short a stick. He's up coaching the Humboldt Broncos, eh? And then the guy before him was Nathan Oystrick. I played against him at Northern Michigan.
Yeah, they fired, something shady was going on there. I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say.
Yeah, don't, because he seems like a beauty. I met him.
Hey, what about Dan Heilman? Remember Danny Heilman?
Of
A
course.
good German, great German.
Yeah, why don't you get that guy on the
Absolutely.
pod?
I don't know how
Yeah,
to
he should be
contact
on
him.
here.
I'd love to chat with him. How would you contact him?
Schmidt's got his contact for sure.
Yeah, I don't have it. But
I bet you Hellman's not talking to Schmidt, because in episode 3, Schmidt told everybody about Dan peeing the bed at my house and then walking by the kids read that he read the books too.
Well,
that's a great story.
Was a great story. Yeah. Yeah.
The one
You know what,
we got
Schmitty?
up.
You're one of the, like, everybody said a lot of shit to me over the 160 episodes or whatever it's been. There's a
Really?
few quotes that like have stuck with me. And you were episode 3, it's early on. And I remember you said to me, you said, well, you know, Waldo, you don't like living a normal life. And I was like, I don't really know what that means. But then I was like, now that I'm doing this and like so much exciting shit's happening all the time, I'm like, you know what? I get bored really easily. And this, I've found a way to be living an exciting life again by not leaving my property ever.
Well, I mean, all 4 of us to do what we did.
And then you just go sit at a desk for 8 hours a day and there's not much going on. You can get bored.
I found, like, when I first retired, quit hockey.
You stop doing that job to start another one.
Yeah. Retirement is that's like a false, but
we don't retire.
I felt the first couple of years were easy and it was great. It was fun. Like, it's now when it gets longer and longer, for me, it gets harder and harder.
Is that right? A little stir crazy or what?
Oh yeah. And maybe it's the COVID too. I don't know. But yeah, you tend to miss it a little bit more for me anyway.
And people wonder like why I do so many, why I like, and I don't get paid. It's like, we had nothing booked when I woke up this morning, and now I'm sitting here with you 3 and we're having like a reunion like it's 2009, 2010. And it's like, this just warms my heart and it makes me excited all day. So,
About last month we had a alumni reunion in South Carolina, and I ran it. I made it a point. I had to go. It's not easy to go, but I tell you, it was so good. I've seen some guys I hadn't seen in 20 years, and it's you forget how much these relationships mean, and the funny thing is, when, like you guys said, in order to win, you got to have good relationships, but you just pick right up on those relationships instantly. Like, it's amazing.
That's the hockey world though, right, Schmitty? For real. Like, we could run into each other in the street in 15 years from now, and it'd be like a big hug and be like, hey, how's it going? Like you never left off, right? Because that's just the hockey world, and that's hockey guys, how they are. And I think that's pretty much, 99% of them. Doesn't matter who they are.
Well,
Your buddy,
and that's how I can start this and have so many guys willing to come on, and like it's
fucking great. It is great.
It's just
a great game.
Super duper. So Justin,
Wheat said he saw you. He texted me.
Yeah. So he's one of, and I know you guys played together in Vegas.
Who's this?
Chris Wheaton. Yeah. He lives in the Bahamas. He's an importer exporter. He's like Art Vandelay.
It's a beauty job.
But no, I seen him for the first time in a long time, and it was just so we laughed for 3 days straight. It was so much fun.
When he saw that we were doing this, he texted me right. I was like, "Oh, I just saw Schmitty last week." Or whatever.
He's a beauty.
Well, and so when you post that on your Instagram, that really helps me, because then your buddies see it and then it helps grow. But it gets you in contact with other guys like that. He texts you and you text him. It's like doing this makes everybody get reconnected and get chatting again. And then you have something to talk about again. But it's just, it makes me very happy, because I went like 5 years with not many texts coming through.
It's like Does this thing work?
Oh shoot. But anyways, Justin, we were in an erotic photo shoot, right? That was the year with these two guys. They never got to experience it. They'll never get to be in an erotic photo shoot, right?
They saw the garbage can in the snow the next day, but they missed.
So what's happened since episode 9 is I have the calendar, I have the photos.
Ooh.
I have them. They're very tasteful, they're very well done. I thought July was one of my favorite photos, but December, that was a little bit too
Although
much.
you showed me them in our call. You showed me a couple of them. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, these are
So
wild.
I got
I
them
forgot
sent.
how wild they were.
Well, it was wild, and I got them sent to me. I had never really seen them since this happened in 2008. It would have been right, the first
Yeah.
start. So I had never seen them, but man, I thought our bodies looked great. My sideburns were a little long, but I thought everybody looked great in those photos, and I still can't believe that they took me out of the massage scene for Dotsy.
So how do we get to see those photos? Do we got to go to your fans only page, or?
I think I'm allowed to share them with my teammates. We're just not allowed to post them anywhere. That I don't know.
Oh.
They're not allowed to see the light of day, but I think you guys were in that family of teammates that I think I'm allowed to show you, right? We looked
Yeah, you can
great.
throw text them to us, Waldo.
They were very tastefully done.
Where were the girls from that were in the photo?
I would,
Czech Republic or?
yeah, I would say.
Poland. Brought them over from Poland.
I'm not sure which country they're from, but they were not speaking German, I do not believe.
Yeah, when you sent them to me, well, that was the first time I ever saw them ever.
So you had never seen them because,
No.
yeah.
I didn't see them once.
They're actually unbelievable that like that day you tell people about it and they're kind of like, yeah, sure. But
It's like porn. It's porn star-ish minus the.
we were playing
out,
hockey
in and out
in our
music.
full gear with naked women, right?
It was crazy.
And then that we were pretending to be coached by them, and then for some reason they made us be topless on the bench, right, Justin?
Yeah, it really turned. It made a quick turn.
But the
Hey.
shower scene, we finally drew our line in the sand. We said we aren't doing that, right?
I didn't know it was gonna end up like that, to be honest. It
It's
was
just
one-
a
I'm
different.
sure. Was it? Who was the goalie? Who was the backup goalie? Kazi. I'm sure Kazi. Wasn't he there?
yeah,
Yep.
he was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was all for it. He was all in. 100%.
Yeah.
He was all in. He wanted all
He
of it.
had a pretty good day. He had fun.
Well, there's no reason he shouldn't have been. I mean,
I think
I
he
would've-
enjoyed himself. Yeah. I
Him
think
and
he did.
Dottie should have been right in there. Fresh meat. Like, get in there.
It was one of the better team promos I've ever done. So,
I-
No doubt.
no, it wasn't signing autographs at a grocery store. Kind of
you know how many team promos you've done and you can't remember hardly any of them. That day I'll
Yeah.
never forget when we showed. They're like, the 6 you got to show up tomorrow for a photo shoot, and we get there, we start getting our equipment on. They're like, you're gonna need to be fully dressed. Next thing you know, the bus load of gals
talent.
Kay showed up
was
ready for
talent.
the photo shoot. And they're like, okay, go out on the ice. You're going to play hockey with them while they're naked with just sticks.
So what was the reasoning that it didn't go further? There was some reason because we didn't get any.
I think it was the shower scene really put some of the frowns over the edge.
some of the wives just went off like, no way.
Wow.
I-
It was a bit much, that last scene. I think if they wouldn't have done that last scene, I think that, I think we could have let it get produced, but December is just a bit much. But anyways, I'm glad we have that memory. I'm glad that they put me on that sign up sheet that they made me do it. I was forced to. It was my job. Great memory, eh, Justin?
great day. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so let's see here. The Feder market, though. So I think the first couple months in Bietigheim for hockey season, it makes sense the team does well most years. You got the weekends we had in the summer, but then also the Feder market kicks off right around preseason, right?
Yeah.
Great
Good
time.
time.
Schmidt, you remember the Feder market?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it was, and the weather was always good time of year for weather, sitting outside, having drinks. And
So I
You
guess for the English folks, that means the horse market, and it's basically like a mini Oktoberfest, but in Bietigheim, right?
yeah. No, it was, well, they always have like a little fair and stuff.
Yeah, they got the
No,
roller
it's-
coasters and all the shit, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
underneath the railroad track there was a big open park. They just fill it up with all tents and rides. It was cool.
I believe they were selling sausages on a bun and schnitzels on a bun.
And lots of beer. Lots of beer.
Yeah, they sold beer and they would play Joanna Dugaila sound. It's like, well, how can you not be in a good mood? Right? Happy hockey players play better, right?
It's a good time. That whole stretch of time, like September, because Oktoberfest is right around the corner. It's like that. Those first like 8 weeks of the season, it's always a fun time off the ice. Like a lot going on.
When was the one in Stuttgart? Because Stuttgart would have an even bigger one. Was it called Volksfest or something?
Yeah, it was right before Oktoberfest kind of thing. So
Yeah,
tell
there was a
you-
big wine. There was a wine fest, eh, Kels?
yeah, the wine fest were in August there.
Yeah.
Lot happening in that area. It was,
Yeah.
It's a good time to be over there.
Yeah.
And like when you get older, you kind of appreciate. You want to go over a bit early, like when you know you're kind of winding down. I don't know how you guys felt, but like
I wish I would have appreciated it more. Like I was too young while I was in Germany to really appreciate it, you know?
yeah, like
My last 2 years, I really did take advantage of it. Last 2 years in Bietigheim, it was a great time.
Yeah.
Both
That's it.
kids
I
were
mean,
kind of with
as I got
family.
older, the more guys that you play with when they were younger, you kind of try and chip away at them to like do that stuff. Because like when you're home for 8 weeks, it's almost better to be over in Europe and doing stuff like that. And then when you retire, it's gone, right? So it's
You don't get the free trip over anymore.
yeah, you basically have a free trip, and then all those events that you won't see on like that monthly basis when you're kind of done. And it's trying to instill that in those guys that are kind of just starting their import journey in Europe.
Well, it's true though. That guy that just came on, that's playing at Straubing, he's got 3 kids over there and they got a camper van cruising. They're hitting everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Justin, didn't you have something like that? Weren't you cruising around in something?
Yeah, I had like a Airstream I had down in California, and then I rode the motorcycle down and was on the beach in Malibu for a couple months living in it, and
You still got it?
no, like the plan was when I retired to actually like live in it and travel around for a while and just like live that life. And then like it was down in California for a while, then that COVID hit, so I couldn't really go down and get it during that stretch. And then I just ended up selling it because the dollar was good at that time and I couldn't get it across the border anyway, so I just flipped it. But my original plan when I stopped playing hockey was to like live in that and just have the bike and the truck and kind of live that life for a while until I get my feet settled. Because I don't know, you guys, it did take time to like settle down. Like Smitty, when you talked about for you, it was easier at the start. I found it harder at the start.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm planting my feet now. But I know a lot of athletes that I've talked to in the last, there's like a 3-year kind of transition where you kind of,
I would say it was
traveling and stuff like that every second couple months. You're kind of moving, so to stand still kind of takes time to adjust.
Yeah,
definitely the start for me was the hardest. I mean, yeah.
my first 3 years, like you said, Schmidt, you were kind of grounded. You went to school right away, kind of had an idea what you were doing. First 3 years for me.
But going to school the first couple of years, right? Like that's different than diving right into it. But didn't Germany help out with that, Schmitty?
Yeah. So they paid for my first 2 years. They
Right.
paid for the schooling, and then obviously they paid 80% of my salary while I was going to school too.
And that's one of the perks of playing in Germany that folks don't realize, right? Like, and that's why, like, realistically, it's the only reason I have a shed is because Britt had called me a pussy and I played too early. But that's why I have a shed, is because of the BG. And then you got to go to school, right? And then they were paying you a bit of your salary while you're doing that. And it changes your life and it makes the transition way easier. And if it wasn't for Germany helping me out, like, been pretty well tits up.
Well, you'd have found a way.
Yeah, you got to find a way.
But that's, I mean, I don't know.
The big thing I find now, and then once you get into a career and you've been into it a while, with the hockey, we always got that summer break, you know, to reset your life. And you know, for me now, you get a week off of holidays, and that's not the same.
It's not.
You're just constantly in it, and you don't really get that nice long
break
to reset. That's one of the things I like, that big long break.
That's why you're at camp right now, Schmidt. You're resetting right now at the camp.
Well, but that's why when Kels, you're talking about these kids being on the ice 2 hours a day. Like, I never played every day until I went to NCAA. Even in junior B, we practiced Monday, Wednesday, and then we'd play on the weekend. Like, I wasn't every day. I wasn't. But you're saying they're on the ice 2 hours a day and training all day. Like, man, you gotta. I don't know. Isn't there like too much as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's that conversation, but at the same time, well, everything is younger now. So like,
they got the energy to do it all day.
Not just that, but the NHL is younger. Everything's moved down. You see how many studs come out of the junior now that are ready to play, because so these kids go to dub maybe 1-2 years and they're in a show, right? Like.
Connor Bedard's ready to play right now, right? Like,
yeah, so you see that all different. That translates all, like, there's guys pegged at like 14 that are already like, it's just the age has just gone down.
It's all happening sooner, and now the parents have to pay instead of like colleges. Major junior.
The downside of that is like guys' careers are shorter now because a lot of the pressure is so young that the NHL or bust mentality, so that a lot of them don't like make it past like 23. They think their career is done, or by the time they're 22, they're kind of out. Right? If you just
that's crazy, isn't it?
Well, it's tough because I mean we played in a different time. Like, guys would play in the A for 10 years, then go to Europe at 30. Like, that's not really happening anymore, right? If you look at the AHL, right? Like, it's younger.
Well, the AHL made no sense when I went there. I got there and there's a whole bunch of guys that had played like a bit in the NHL, and they were taking up all the ice time for like the young guys. It makes more sense what they're doing now.
But even if you look at the NHL rosters, like, it's pretty young, man. Like, so like,
and they're effective. They're effective players too. Like, right? So they need to come ready. Not you come to the NHL and you learn how to be a pro. You got to learn.
Yeah,
you got to be ready. From what I know, I've been out of the game.
Yeah, it's just what you see. Like, the machines just started. It starts like earlier, and then
that's scary.
There's pros and cons for sure. I'm not on one side or the other. It's just what I've observed in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
This where as far as the NHL goes, Europe. I mean, I'm a big believer in Europe, obviously, with long careers, and you try and talk about that message because parents need to hear our stories just as much as the superstar NHL stories, because there's a ton of ways to extend your career and have a successful hockey career, whatever that means. Even getting a scholarship is a successful hockey career. Playing junior is success. Like, so, and like Europe is an option for guys to extend their career. They just need to they need to hear that message too from guys like us. And
the lifestyle of Europe is way better than the lifestyle of the NHL. I know the dollar signs are different, but I'm telling you, in talking to all the guys in the NHL, like, it's a grind, right? Like, it wasn't a grind for us. We played Friday and Sunday, and then we had Monday fun day.
Well, like, when I was looking through some of the pictures of us today, like, I haven't sent any to get a poster made, but like, every picture of us that are all together, we're having a time.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Europe is that way, right? Like,
well, then you see those guys that are playing for the Leafs go for a press conference after a game that they've just lost or something. They're pale, they're stressed, man. It's a stressful life those fellas are living.
Yeah.
But and
The picture that you posted when we were of all of us together, we were at Kel's that
Oh yeah,
know
that was
if
the
you guys
beer pong
remember.
day. That's the
Oh,
beer
yeah.
pong day.
I don't know if you remember, but I went to the bathroom at one point and I come out and I was just a
God.
full sweat. I thought I had a mini heart attack.
I got a couple of
You
Everyone
were
videos.
was
done.
like,
You
why
were
is-
done. You were done. You couldn't
I-
keep up with us young punks.
I think it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I had to go to bed. Well, I had to be put to bed.
I looked up to you as the old grizzled vet, and I'm like, fucking guy can't even handle his alcohol.
That was probably one of the better parties we had. That was at your place that time.
Didn't the neighbor come over too or something that time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the beer pong tournament.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a sneaky one, snuck up on us a little bit.
Yeah. They usually do. They get the better of us all the time.
So Cal said, Doug, you guys played the new rink and the old rink. Give us your rundown, because I think I only played one game in the new rink for Hellbrown. I think it was only one game, and it was big ice. Game seemed boring. Not much, like everybody's skating around really fast, but like there was no bumping and grinding. And I don't know. I like the old rink because it was smaller ice. I like that shit.
I like the atmosphere of the old rink, right? Coming out, walking out of the dressing room through the stands,
Yeah.
going through and they're
And
right
they're
there,
right on
right
you,
on top of you,
right in there.
right in there talking to us, letting us know. And it was the vibes were different in the old rink, right? Like every time you stepped on the ice, you could feel it through your body. And in the new rink, my opinion, but like you come out of the door and you're kind of walking, there's just a big atmosphere and everyone's everywhere. And it was good when like I said, when we won the championship, there was a lot of people there, but it still wasn't the same as the old rink. The old rink was just the old hockey, right? It was great.
Justin, you concur?
Yeah, I mean, the facility is great. The new one's great, and then, what they did this year with it, and it was suited for a DEL club. It's a good size. Yeah, I like the old one too. I like the short roof. That's why it was so loud in there. It's like right on top of you, and then the fans right on top of you, and then I like the ice, to be honest. The ice was good at the old rink, because all those old barns, like all the new ones, the ice is kind of shitty, right? Like it's
Too soft.
soft,
Yeah.
and they're warm, and
You're a little overweight. You sink in just a little too much.
Did Bietigheim ever play in the DEL?
They are now. They just got there.
Now,
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, you mean next year? Next year they're going.
No, they did this year. They played
they
this
did.
year, I think.
Oh,
Renee Schoofs is there.
yeah,
oh, nice.
this
Yeah.
year was their first year in the DEL.
Wow. And they've been wanting to get there. Well,
Since we were there 2008, man.
Since we unlocked the door for them and opened the door
They
and
were-
said, here's the DL. Do you want to come? And they said, no.
Another reason why we was so big we won that year is because they were paying huge salaries for a number of years, weren't they? And
To try and
they
get
weren't
up.
winning. They weren't winning. So there was pressure to win there.
Oh yeah, like
Right?
even before our time, like
Yeah.
we've been trying to. They used to spend big bucks, and
Yeah.
So it was and then they, like the contracts we had there and like our team budget, they were paying guys, from years previous still. So
Yeah.
but then Porsche kind of left, so they
That
changed.
year. It was that year, right?
We had that financial crisis in 08 or something, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. 08, 09 was financial. Because we were supposed to go. I remember the rumors were we were supposed to go to Stuttgart in that Porsche rink until they built our new rink. That was kind of like the plan, and then everything kind of fell through, right? So
Were you getting your info from Holger Barth?
no, I got it from Frankie Heiner.
Oh, Frankie. the Deutsche Bob McKenzie.
Frankie
Every
was our
morning.
equipment manager. folks.
Cigarette and coffee, man. Cigarette and coffee every morning.
I
Frankie's
could
a
not
beauty.
understand one word of German that guy said. I could understand.
Schmidt, can du sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kels?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
Dougie?
been so long since, but I probably.
Do you vergessen viel?
Kleine, I
Oder?
kleine.
The other thing I got written down here is the Hellbron Bietigheim rivalry. That's quite the thing, eh?
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead, Kels.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So you played for Halbron?
So when we went to Bietigheim in that first year, we had a great year, right?
Yeah.
And they started calling me Mr. Brent Walton. Remember that? I'd come out and they'd be like, Mr. Brent Walton. I got that service for a bit there. And then the next year I hurt my knee. Then I come back, the budget's lower, team's worse. And the next year, the same thing. And the fans just weren't having as much fun at the games when we sucked. And I was playing the same. I thought I was still the same person, but apparently not. So then when the new coach came in and said, I don't want you, and Hellbron did, I switched teams and I thought it would be like a big deal. And I thought people would care. Nobody gave a fuck.
So you switched halfway through the season, or
No, and in the off season, like,
Okay.
so Hellbron came with their offer. Bietigheim said, yeah, smell you later. And then I moved 30 minutes down the road. They just came and picked me up in the Hellbron van. We threw our shit in there and moved down the road. Yeah, but no, the fans didn't care. Nobody cared. I thought it was a bigger deal, but no, it wasn't.
And to be honest, like, it was bigger, I felt, earlier on when we were there. And then, I don't know, you're Dougie, your second stint. But when I went back there, kind of like,
Is it because Bietigheim was better than Hellbron most years?
it felt like, my last year there, we played them in the first round and it wasn't like anything crazy.
Yeah, towards the end, they just got worse and worse.
They
every
weren't
year. I
good,
think our
yeah.
first year there was kind of like a good rivalry, but we still beat them because we were really good that year. And I think it just kind of slowly died off because we just kept beating them every year, right?
That's how I felt like our first stint, like Schweinebraten and Hellbron were big kind of derbies, and then Schweinebraten left, and then Hellbron, we, like you said, we just kind of beat them all the time, and then they weren't as good, and just kind of, we'd have a few big crowds, so like in the new rink, but nothing that sustained. Like, it kind of switched to like Frankfurt, honestly, towards.
Well, fun fact about the Falcons is if you go there, that we had a good team. We had paid for a good team. We had players to do all right. And then the manager said that sticks don't matter. The sticks don't make the player. And they wouldn't buy us the good sticks. They buy us the cheapest version of your curve. So when I would get an opportunity to shoot it in the net, I didn't know where the hell I was going. And it wasn't until about 10 games left in the season, a sponsor found out that like they wouldn't buy me the sticks I liked, and he bought me a half dozen and changed my career. And then I went on a run, got a contract the next year. So thank you, buddy. Because yeah, the Hellbron wonders why they were losing those derby games. Just got to buy the good sticks. Oh God. Okay. Do you guys remember when I did the naked squats in the middle of the room when Brittig made me do squats for the boys? Do you remember that?
Nick,
Is that when you were injured?
Yeah, I wasn't playing that year and I'd been riding the bike in the sauna like the whole year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you remember?
I remember somewhat. Well,
then he's like, it's time to get out of the sauna. It's time to start doing more. And then he was bothering me so much that I went, and he had like, remember when he had weights set up in the middle of our little tiny locker room?
Yeah.
And then he made me do squats. So then I just had the knee brace on and nothing else. And I popped out some reps for you fellas.
Did he walk in? Did he walk in on us?
I don't think he thought it was funny, but
Did you think anything was funny that we did?
jeepers.
Well, what was the masseuse we had there? The guy Franzi.
Franzi Bible Franz.
That guy's a beauty too.
Yeah, he was. He was good at keeping time in the sauna bike rides, though. Wouldn't let me out early. I tried a few times.
It's a good thing no one got really hurt on the ice, because I don't know if he could have sprinted fast enough. Honestly, like,
Yeah, you didn't have much of a pulse.
no,
No,
but
So
yeah, about the rink wall, I was gonna say that, like, it was funny because we practiced there. The rink was being used for whatever reason, so we had to use the old locker room for around Christmas time. And it was funny how, like, we had like more like Cabina Fest in that room than we did in the new one. Like
All right.
it was just a yeah, it was an interesting shift in like dressing room antics. And when we switched over to that old shitty room, it just brought guys were just a little lighter, and like
Huh.
it was interesting switch I noticed.
instead of being in the big fancy room, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
just
find it
shitty,
weird,
you
right?
know,
Like
guys
when
that
you
stay
watch
longer
the
in room.
if you watch the NHL and you watch the shit that goes on and that they're videoing, like they'll be videoing the team's pregame speech. They'll be in the locker room while a team's getting ready to play with video cameras, like right up in the guy's business. It's
Yeah.
like, how can you guys be acting like yourselves getting ready for a hockey game when they're like right there? And like even the coach, for him to give the real speech of how he wants to say it and do it, like now you're putting this out to everybody. It's just gone a little bit too far, no?
Well, you're in the media side now, Waldo, so you gotta appreciate it.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Wow.
You're basically the Fox News of the media. Fox Sports.
That's right. Yeah. Keeping everybody entertained.
Tucker Carlson.
Well, should we talk about then let's talk about saunas in Germany. You guys get into saunas? Who got into saunas?
First one ever. My first one ever. Working out in Landsberg. Walk in. It's the duel, right? Girls on one side, guys on the other.
Mhm.
Walk in, have a shower. Actually, started shaving. Some guy says, "You're not allowed to shave in here. You can't shave in here."
You were shaving in the
man,
sauna?
I was shaving in the shower, right? Then I was gonna go in the sauna. Go in the sauna, walk in there. I walk in nude. So I finish shaving, walk in, girl laying naked on the right. I was like, oh my God. Quick U-turn. Quick U-turn, because I'm pretty sure I was gonna get a boner. She was a good looking girl. Quick U-turn. I was like, I'm out of here, man. Like, I just got married. This is not the way to start a marriage. And the German's like, what are you doing? I'm like, there's a naked girl in there, and she's like a 10. Like, I'm out. Like,
Can't handle this.
I can't handle this, man. Divorce before married.
Let's put it this way, Wally, in regards to the saunas. I used to time my Monday workout.
Yeah.
So I was just entering the shower as the yoga class was entering. Everything's about timing.
You got yeah. You gotta have a sauna at the end of the workout.
That's the experience of Schmitty. The experience of Schmitty.
Well, the sauna story I got for Bietigheim then would have been when PJ Fenton and I were on a line. We were running amok with Dougie up top and on the power play. And anyways, our wives go to work out together. And at the end of the workout, maybe he had timed it too. but the gals go in with their towels wrapped around them. And Kevin Gaudet is standing there sitting there hammer out, right? So and they walk in, that little redheaded fella, and he was like, ladies. So yeah.
That's funny.
Kels, you got any good sauna stories?
No, I mean, the first
You just
one,
got really into it. Good
yeah,
for the body.
not as intimate as your guys' stories. It was more my first year in Sweden as 20-year-old, and you know, the two Finnish guys I play with are like 40 at the time, so they're Monday off. Same thing. They're like, we want to come sauna, so sure, we go sauna, but it was just like vodka. They bring vodka in their sauna with them. So
Vodka in the sauna? Like
yeah,
straight up, or are we mixing it?
no, you just you like
Shots.
So it was an interesting like first taste of like, yeah, you just drink and get sweat out, drink and sweat out. So just imagine like, you know, when you drink in a hot tub, right? How you feel. So
Yeah.
just, you know, when
I may or may not know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Wally, I'm gonna cut in. I'm gonna tell you a story. Do we have time?
I think so. Yeah.
So my first year over in Germany, I could go to Weisswasser. That was my first year.
Beautiful white water. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm one of the only. Well, I am the only Canadian import at that time. And so we get there, of course, and you know, your first year don't know much about anything. They say we're going to the beach for the day. So we get there, and I don't really know, and I'm just kind of hanging out. And there was a creepy old equipment guy. He had a big beard. He looked like a bum, basically. And he kept coming over, and he kept saying, "Well, let's go play volleyball over on this side of the beach." And everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever, beat it." And he finally convinces us to go. And it's families, all the Germans got their wives and such. And we get over, we drive over, we pull up, and he comes out, he's buck naked with a volleyball.
This is the equipment guy?
It's the naked side of the beach. Like, it's the naked beach. And he wants everyone to get naked and play volleyball with him.
So he gets all the families over there, and then he just gets buck.
Well, he was buck naked when we pulled up.
Was it cold out?
I don't know. I was just like, what the hell is happening here? And of course, the wives are like, "Yeah, this is not happening."
No.
And they were even German wives. They're like, "This is weird." Picture Franzi showing up. Hey, let's play volleyball.
Let's play volleyball. Hammer out.
He was like Franzi, but he had a huge, like, Brett Burns beard. Like,
Yeah.
That was when beards weren't what they are. Anyway, carry on.
That's good stuff. No, I'm still a sauna enthusiast. I think once you get into it, it's hard to get out. I got a little 2-seater, little infrared in the basement here. I picked up for $500. Love it.
I'm big on saunas. Yeah, I still do it a lot.
My favorite purchase I've had, I'd say, is that little 2-seater down there. Love it.
I'm big on saunas.
Okay, so Justin, let's what are we going to talk about here? I think playoff drive, when we win the championship. Let's get into that, I'm going to go pee. Who did we play? Did we play Garmisch first round?
We did, yeah. We swept them.
Is that who did we not sweep everybody except Munich?
We only lost one game. It was in a shootout.
That's right.
To Munich.
Yeah. Mr.
I remember going to
Mr. Brandon
Weisswasser.
Dietrich scored the goal. Top cheese, my high school sweetheart that I loved as a player. And he went top cheese to beat us in that shootout. But then we were the Deutsche Meisters and we beat them, right?
I don't know who we played in the second round.
That's what I couldn't figure out.
Weisswasser.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
No.
yes, listen to the story. Listen to the story.
We played Whitewater in the semis. I gotta
Whitewater
pee.
in
You
the
guys
second
keep
round.
talking. Keep it
Whitewater in
going.
the
Okay,
second
really good
round.
so far.
Whitewater in the second round. We beat them 2. We beat us third game. We went back to Whitewater.
Oh, that's right.
They were beating us by like 2 goals. And the team says, "Fuck that. We're quitting because we're not going back to Bietigheim to lose game 6." And they gave up and we won game 5 in Weisswasser.
I think I remember. Yeah.
Something like that. I remember it was something that I was like, "What the hell?"
Some of their imports told you that, right? Or they
just said, "We're not playing you guys back at home. We're not going to win. There's no way." And they just gave up, and I was just like, "What the fuck just happened?" Which, I mean, they were right. They were right.
Yeah. So it was Garmisch, Whitewater, and then Munich.
And then Munich, yeah.
So Whitewater upset someone, right?
Whitewater upset someone. I'm pretty sure it was game 4, whatever it was. It was either 4 or 5. Must have been game 4, right? 1 at home, 2 there, 3. Yeah, it was game 4. We were up 3-0. Then they were winning game 4 because we swept them. And then they were up by like 2 goals and going to the third period. And they're like, we're not winning this game. We're not going back to Bietigheim. They're just like, we give up. And they just gave up, and that was it. We swept them.
That's a pretty long bus ride too. I can see why they didn't want to go.
Whitewater or Whitewater to Bietigheim. You know, when I think of Weisswasser, I think of that defenseman because Justin, you and I used to kill penalties back then. and that fucking gauze deck with the slap shot. That guy shot it so fucking hard. Every time he was gonna get it, I made sure I was not blocking it.
Oh, but we had to, Wally.
But we did, and I was like, I was. If they got a power play, I was like, actually, like, I really don't want to block that shot. He was, of all the guys I played against, that guy, you knew it was every time he got it, he was taking a slap shot, and it was going to be really, really hard.
But that the finals, the atmosphere of that last game was, looking back, it was pretty electric, like in Munich there.
In Munich?
Yeah,
I thought that whole
we had a
series
huge
against
section.
Munich was.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. I look at pictures sometimes and go back and then you go back in some other years that we won, it was not even close. Like to the
That was crazy that we had a big section of fans there at that one end.
Yeah.
Big.
yeah, it was impressive, like that atmosphere.
It was wild. I
was
have
wild.
a few pictures I just found recently. Now that I talked to people in my shed, that I had found that they're incredible photos with, you got everybody, all those fans, and you got the topless dudes with the drums.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
They were relentless. The drums were relentless, like the whole third period, just crazy.
That was a tight game too, wasn't it? Like
They pulled their goalie. I think we were up by 2, and then they pulled their goalie and got another one.
Yeah.
Dougie got an empty netter to seal it, I think.
Dougie,
Oh yeah.
I think I had a snipe that game too.
I feel like I remember. I think it was a 4-on-4 or we were shorthanded. I don't know. I scored a breakaway goal somehow. I remember that game.
Yeah, it was. I think it was shorthanded.
Yeah,
Shorthanded. I blocked a shot, which probably I didn't want to do either.
Yeah.
And then went down on a breakaway and scored. And
So did you have 2 goals that game then?
think
I had 2 that game. Yeah.
It's well,
You guys got good memories.
You're
eh?
the MVP.
MVP. I don't know if we go that far. I probably had probably only had 2 goals the whole playoffs.
It was really fun winning, and we dominated those playoffs. So like when you only lose one game the whole playoffs and it was in a shootout, that's the part that upsets me, is that we didn't go up to the DL then, and then Munich basically brings back the exact same team the next year. Our budget goes down because Porsche's gone. I'm hurt, and then they win, and then they're all DL players. And then they're all, it's weird.
I just remember when we won celebrating, and then Brady, I don't know who you said it to, he's like, it was because of the 400 meters. And it's like in that moment of celebration.
And he's
First he thinks of, not about the way the team built each other all through the whole year. No,
he said it to Dan, because Dan, I remember Dan telling me that, like in the locker room there, like.
Dan probably hated it the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
Every day, he's like, fuck, I hate being here. I fucking hate being here.
I just remember we had a lot of players, so we had a big roster.
There were of good players. Like you look at Dotsy, he was our 7th D man. That guy after that year played like 15 years in the DL, and he got called up to the DL that season, and we were playing him as our 7th D man.
Well, didn't he play instead of Dirk because of the age? Like Dirk sat out quite a few games.
It was between the two of them. They were battling for 6 D man, and they both could have been in the DL.
Yeah.
I think we had a whole line sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
Florian Young, we had some good players, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that night though in Munich, that was a fun night. That was a really fun night. And
Everything was good. The locker room after was lots of fun. Yeah, it was
the
good.
bus ride back, the warehouse, and then the parade the next day. Things might have got carried away, right? But
Yeah.
we were
It's like
Deutsche Meisters. You can do whatever you want, right?
It's the right distance of bus trip to win a championship.
Yeah.
And it was also great that like after a year at Bietigheim, enough people knew who my dog was to bring him back to me at the parade, right?
And remember that? Well, that year we all had bonuses and for the extra points,
The
like
young guy.
team points.
We
Right?
sure did. We
Remember
sure
how-
did.
Remember how happy Barry Noy and
Pascal Schu.
they'd be waiting at the door,
Yeah.
high-fiving us every game because they just made 750 euros for doing nothing. like just sitting there like, whoa.
Like we were.
So
getting
yeah,
that
folks
kinda
that
right after. Go
folks
ahead.
that aren't that don't know what we're talking about. After the team got to 80 points, every player on the team, this wasn't about goals and assists. We were a team, which I liked. I thought that was great. I never did once have goals or assists in my contracts for money. I thought it was awesome that it was all about the team. Once we got to 80 points for the season, it was 250 euros a point per player. But the guys that had signed the year before, they were getting 350 euros a point. And the 18-year-olds that were making less than that per month, every win we had, they were paying the full squad. And once we got to 80 points, I think we lost the next game, and then we never lost another game.
Yeah,
We had
well, I think
109, right, or something like that.
is that what we had?
I
Wow.
think we had 109.
We ran amok, you could say.
Oh man,
I believe you guys set us up to be brutal for the next 3 years.
I'm pretty
we
sure
paid
Small-
we paid all you guys so much in bonuses that we had shitty teams for the next 3 years that they asked me to kindly leave.
Those were good bonuses.
Those are really good bonuses. That's what I mean. Like those kids that are 18 years old, they're making $1,500 on a weekend for not doing anything, just hanging out.
But even just the structure of it's cool. Like you're.
But it keeps you motivated, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you're not, not good, then it is what it is. So
Then you don't get any money.
yeah, I know they had them after that. They just weren't as high. Like with
They had
points.
similar stuff, but yeah, we
I
pretty
think,
well
yeah,
bankrupted that
My
year.
second contract, Waldo, was similar. I think I
I-
had 100. I think
I
100.
remember on the bus the one night we were talking about the kids that were showing up with like new laptops and stuff. And we were like, how much, like we just won a game in Freiburg or wherever. I'm like, how much did that just cost them on top of our salaries? Like if you did the math, 700 euros, 750 euros a player, and you had the roster we had. It's like,
Yeah, we had like 26 people on our roster. It's crazy.
we really digged them up that year, but that's why whatever. Okay, parade was fun the next day too, eh? Good times. Justin, getting your jersey retired then. So you had a team back and you played like the team that was there then. Is that how it worked?
No, we split. We just had a split game. It was a lot of players came back, so it was nice. And we had like even numbers, so they just split the teams up.
And you just played a game.
Yeah.
And then so then they sell the tickets and all that. How does that work?
Yeah, I think they had tickets. There's about 3,500 to 4,000 people there showed up, which was pretty overwhelming. Then guys flew over.
So it's not like so this is a thing in the UK. There's called testimonials. I don't know if you've heard of it. If you play 10 years on a team, they have a testimonial for a guy. And that means that they host a game, but then all the money made, the ticket sales goes to that player as like a thank you for what they've done. That wasn't a thing for you, right? It was just a jersey retirement.
Yeah. I mean, they paid for my flight and my accommodations and, my sister and my mom.
And you brought some players back too?
Yeah, like guys, but they paid their own way, which was, guys flew over.
The guys that came paid their own way to be there?
Yeah, from all the guys like from Canada, and they flew over and ventured over. It's like you guys know, you need a reason to go back over sometimes, and
you definitely do, yeah.
I'd go in a heartbeat if something was going on, I mean, you need a reason to go.
At this stage you just kind of find time, and it was, so that part almost was more humbling than the game was fun, but just being like having everyone come back was almost like, I was very grateful for that. And then they did it actually, they did an awesome job. Like the jerseys they made up with my face and all that, they did a first class job of setting that game up and promoting it.
Well, that's cool.
So,
I got a guest here.
Holy moly, look who it is.
This high school girl.
Holy cow, it's been a day or two. How are you?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How's cheers? How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Cheers.
I just left a good old Saskatchewan bonfire to come over and say hi.
Well, nice.
I like it.
I forgot in Mr. Schmidt's first episode is how we know each other. We went to Paris together
Oh, yeah.
On the ice train.
on the fastest train ever that
Yeah.
floats like you're not even moving.
Yeah. And I remember we ordered steak at that first restaurant. We were starving. We ordered steak and they brought us rare meat, a
Yeah,
plate
it
of rare meat.
wasn't
ate
cooked.
Because we were starving.
Hey, but how about we thought we were going to that live show?
Oh, the live sex show. In the Moulin Rouge district.
Well, that was all you that you wanted to go there, you said.
I've never wanted to go to
Wouldn't
those
spend the
places.
$50 for drinks, so they basically kicked us out.
I do remember going into that place. There wasn't even any talent on the stage.
They all ran out the back door when we came.
So speaking of that steak, I always talk about food in different countries on here, and I think the French food sucked, right? So there's that.
Mashed potatoes, potato gratin.
Yeah, well,
Remember that in the little
I
kettle?
just think of that steak that was uncooked. It wasn't a good
That
experience.
was nasty. That was nasty.
Mhm.
Shocking. Culture shock.
Yes, I agree. Dougie always gives us the best background for this show. God.
Dougie took off.
Yeah, he's
Dougie
out of
was
here.
Tea break.
I had to reload here.
Well,
Hey.
Other
I'm-
girls.
The makeshift office.
I've been
What's
trying
that?
to convince Lisa to come to the shed for a year now. She won't do it.
Candace! Candace!
Holy moly, Doug. You can't.
Oh.
Get your ass on here, lady.
Get the video.
Holy moly. It sounds like we're almost into the after hours portion, folks. The only other note I got written down, Doug, is for you.
What's up?
Hunter and Beckham.
Oh, hey, let's tell one of the good stories, Waldo. Remember the good one? We always had the field up top when we were in Bietigheim. We all lived in that little circle. Oh,
fuck.
you know it already.
I gotta
And
puke.
we went
You're
for-
talking
we
about
went
your dog?
Yeah, we went for a nice walk. Went
Sick
for a walk
fuck.
up top. And then we let the dogs off the leashes, and Hunter's a beagle, right? He used to fly everywhere.
There'd be deer all over the place.
Either
up
ever he
there.
sniffed it, just start howling and just going. I was like, that's fine, no problem. All of a sudden we get back, we're walking down the nice trail. All goes, what's he doing? And go over, human shit. Human shit.
Just mucking it up. Just mucking it up. Just enjoying it.
Just eating away.
Oh.
Waldo goes over,
Oh my God.
he just starts choking. I'm like, oh my God. Just fresh, nice, hot human shit. He just
It wasn't that he was eating the shit. It was how
He
much
was
he
like-
was enjoying it. Oh,
his head was
Wow.
really in there.
it was like
Oh.
squishing out of his mouth, and he
Oh,
was just
God.
having
Like a Mars bar?
He was
Oh,
having
it's so
a
disgusting.
time. It was, and then he's
Oh,
just
Henry.
he's ripping around like this is the best day of my life. I just crushed some guy's turds. Oh,
Oh,
ah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Great,
So I,
great
any-
dog stories though. Waldo and I used to walk the dogs all the time. It was that was the one funny one, but those were our
I-
getaways.
Waldo used to walk the dog behind our place and catch me waxing Greg's back.
Is that still going on? Is he still growing hair? Or do you? I always heard that if you waxed it enough, it wouldn't grow back.
I don't know if that's possible if Schmidt's back.
Well, Sarah, you got anything to add before we shut this down?
I didn't realize we were doing the show. I thought we were just visiting.
That's what the show is.
I don't know if I can say anything.
Oh, you can say anything.
What happens on the road stays on the road.
Jeez, the Saskatchewan bonfires just get to you, eh? They hit different.
Oh, lake lights. You can't beat it. Lake lights.
And this has been another episode of 37 Ales and Hockey Tales with Dougie, Kells, and the Schmidts.